Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we are tackling something that is pretty much the definition of out of sight, out of mind,
Hmm.
your septic system. We're talking about the part of your property you never ever think about until suddenly it's a five-figure, foul-smelling disaster.
That's it, exactly. For decades, the septic system was just this mystery box in the backyard. You just kind of hoped it worked.
Right, just ignore it.
Ignore it. That was the wisdom. But that approach, we now know, has led to these massive, and I mean massive, avoidable costs. The real problem is the warning signs are so subtle.
What do you mean?
Well, a drain that's just a little sluggish or, a faint odor on a really humid day. So homeowners, they just delay. And then the problem compounds until it's a full-on emergency.
And what does that cost look like?
You're often looking at $3,000 on the low end, and critically, it can go all the way up to $15,000.
Wow, for a system you can't even see. Okay, let's unpack this.
Let's do it.
Our mission today is to really understand this huge shift in home maintenance. Why are septic systems suddenly demanding our attention? We're going to dive into the four most common mistakes that basically guarantee failure.
And then we'll get into the 5 big factors driving this new focus on prevention.
Exactly. And look at the new science that's making proactive care, finally, simple and effective. So let's start with those common mistakes. I mean, a $15,000 disaster, that doesn't just happen randomly, right?
No, not at all. It's almost always the result of years of really simple, preventable errors.
So what's the number one thing you see?
The biggest one by far is just neglect of regular maintenance. People really buy into this myth that the tank just takes care of itself.
But it doesn't.
It's not a trash can you bury. A septic system is an active biological unit. So if you skip routine pumping, which is usually every 3 to 5 years, you're just letting solids build up.
And that guarantees failure.
Guarantees it.
Yeah.
Because the tank, it just loses its ability to separate waste effectively.
And you said it's a biological unit, so it's not just about what stays in the tank, it's about the environment inside it.
Exactly. It's basically a miniature waste treatment plant in your yard. And that brings us to mistakes 2 and 3, which are really tied together.
Okay.
Using harmful chemicals and failing to support the bacteria, your system relies almost completely on beneficial bacteria to break down organic waste. That is their whole job.
The little workhorses of the
The
system.
workhorses. So when you pour tons of bleach or antibacterial soaps or those harsh drain cleaners down the sink, you're basically committing genocide on your own treatment team.
So when that vital ecosystem dies off, what happens functionally?
The waste just stops breaking down.
Mhm.
The solid material, what we call sludge and scum, builds up way, way faster.
Yeah. Oh, I see.
And that sludge eventually clogs the pipes and backs up into the drain field, which is the last and most critical part of the system.
Which leads right into mistake number 4, ignoring the distress signals. I think we're all guilty of this one. That gurgling toilet, you just kind of hope it goes away.
Right, or that slow shower drain. Those signals are crucial. It's the system screaming for help.
And people wait.
They wait months, sometimes years. By the time they call a pro, it's not a simple clog anymore. It's a failed drain field. The soil itself is saturated, it's contaminated.
And that's when you need the heavy equipment.
That's when you need excavation, reconstruction, and that is where you get hit with that 5-figure emergency septic tax.
Wow. Okay, that makes the economic case for prevention pretty undeniable. But this raises a question for me. If these problems have always existed, why is awareness skyrocketing now? Here's where it gets really interesting. You've identified 5 key factors here.
It's a perfect storm, really, a mix of economic reality, education, and new technology.
So it's factor 1.
The brutal reality of rising repair costs. Septic repair isn't like calling a handyman. It needs licensed pros, excavation, soil tests, permits,
A lot of overhead.
a ton. And inflation and labor shortages hit that kind of specialized work much, much harder. So when a repair that was maybe $5,000 a few years ago is now 10 or 12, that small monthly investment in prevention starts to look like a genius move.
That makes perfect sense. And you said the other factors are around information and the environment.
Exactly. Factor 2 is just the explosion of accessible education. You can go online, read a blog, watch a video, and understand how your septic system works. It's not a mystery anymore.
And factor 3.
Growing environmental awareness. People get it now. A failing tank isn't just a smelly mess in your yard. It's a direct contaminant.
And what's the specific concern there? Is it just general pollution?
It's very specific, and it's serious. We're talking nitrates and pathogens from human waste. If the drain field fails, that stuff goes directly into the groundwater
And into wells?
and into wells that people use for drinking water. So people are motivated now not just by money, but by protecting their family's health and their local environment.
I can absolutely see how that would change behavior. So what about the broader trends in homeownership? How does this fit in?
That's factor four. The move toward holistic home efficiency. Homeowners today want to optimize everything.
Smart thermostats, solar panels.
Right. Smart security, energy-efficient appliances. Managing your septic system is just the next logical step in making your whole property run better and minimizing risk.
And that brings us to factor five, which is the opportunity here. Innovative products are coming onto the market.
They are, and they're different. The old enzyme treatments were,
Right.
let's be honest, they were hit or miss. The new solutions are targeted, they're based on better science, and crucially, they're easy to use.
So let's use SEPTIFIX as a case study for this new proactive approach. How does it represent that shift?
It's a great example because it moves us away from just relying on, expensive emergency calls or pouring harsh chemicals down the drain. It's about smart, simple, proactive care.
Okay, so let's get into the mechanics. What is it exactly?
It's a treatment tablet. You just flush one down the toilet once a month.
That's it.
That's it. But what it does in the tank is what's so fascinating. It doesn't just add bacteria. It releases specialized bacteria and a high concentration of oxygen.
Wait, oxygen? I thought septic tanks were anaerobic, oxygen-free.
That's the key insight. You're right, the tank is anaerobic.
Yeah.
But the oxygen does two things. First, it helps accelerate the breakdown of waste right in the tank. But second, and this is critical, when the liquid effluent leaves the tank and goes to the drain field, the drain field actually needs an oxygen-rich environment to finish the purification process in the soil.
So this tablet is working on both ends of the problem. It's boosting the good bacteria in the tank, and it's preparing the wastewater to be treated more effectively in the drain field.
Precisely. You're preventing the sludge buildup that causes clogs, and you're making sure the liquid that leaves the tank is little damaging to your soil. You're basically extending the life of your entire system.
So for the homeowner, the appeal is, what? A mix of effectiveness and just sheer simplicity.
That's it. First, it's easy monthly use. You flush one tablet. Done. Second, it scientifically boosts the healthy bacteria you need. Third, and this is the big one, it actively breaks down that sludge and scum before it can cause a backup.
And what about that immediate sign of trouble? The odor. Does it help with that?
Absolutely. That's one of the first things people notice. The oxygen release technology specifically targets the source of those foul smells. So you're not just masking the symptom, you're treating the root cause.
So to summarize the case study here, using something like SEPTIFIX manages the risk, simplifies the maintenance, it's environmentally friendly because you're not using harsh chemicals.
And it targets the #1 cause of failure, the breakdown of that bacterial ecosystem. It really is an elegant solution to a very old, very messy problem.
But we should also talk about the context here. Why is maintaining a septic system actually harder today than it was, say, 30 years ago?
That's such a crucial point. You said earlier ignoring it is like skipping oil changes in a car.
Right.
Well, now that car is decades old. It's got a lot of miles on it, and we're driving it harder than ever.
So stress factor one is just aging infrastructure.
Yes. A huge number of septic tanks were installed between the 80s and the early 2000s.
Yeah.
They are now reaching the end of their design life. They're failing sooner.
And we're putting more demands on them.
Immense demands.
Yeah.
That's stress factor 2. Modern usage. We use more water, more appliances, and way more concentrated antibacterial cleaning products than any generation before. The strain on that aging tank is enormous.
And then you layer on top of that the environment itself.
Stress factor 3. Climate. This is becoming a catastrophe for drain fields. They rely on dry, porous soil to filter the liquid.
Right.
But with increased flooding, heavier rains, soil that's saturated for weeks, you're essentially drowning the drain field. The water table rises, and the wastewater has nowhere to go.
So it just backs up.
It backs right up into the tank and then into your house, or it bubbles up to the surface in your yard. That is stress factor 4. Severe consequences, property damage, contaminated wells. It's a nightmare scenario.
Okay, the stakes are incredibly high. The forces working against the system, age, usage, climate, they're all getting worse. So given all that, what's the simplest path forward for a homeowner who doesn't want to become that next $15,000 statistic?
We've really distilled it down to 5 simple, actionable steps. It's about combining this new tech with some basic common sense hygiene.
All right, let's hear them. Step 1.
Step 1, integrate the modern solution. Flush one tablet of SEPTIFIX once a month. That stabilizes the system and keeps the biology healthy.
Step 2.
Step 2, don't abandon traditional maintenance. Schedule that routine pumping every 3 to 5 years. Think of it as a secondary safeguard.
Step 3 sounds like it's about what we put down the drain.
It is. Be mindful of your cleaning routine. Move away from those super harsh antibacterial cleaners. They are the enemy.
Step 4.
Strict drain hygiene. Watch what you flush. No wipes, no grease, no feminine hygiene products. Grease is terrible because it forms this non-biodegradable mat that just chokes the entire system.
And finally, step 5.
Be an active monitor. Pay attention to those warning signs. Slow drains, gurgling toilets, weird smells. They are your early warning system. Do not ignore them.
So what does this all mean? The major insight here seems to be that septic health is no longer a mystery. It's not about luck. It's essential, it's predictable, and it's entirely manageable.
Completely. This modern proactive approach using smart solutions like SEPTIFIX, it really empowers you, the homeowner. It lets you stay ahead of the problems.
So you can avoid those emergency repairs.
Avoid the repairs, protect your drinking water, and just ensure the long-term health of your property.
We spend so much energy, so much money focused on the visible parts of our homes, the new roof, the siding, shiny fixtures. But here's a final thought for you to consider. What unseen underground system failure that's preventable for just pennies a day could instantly slash your property value by tens of thousands of dollars overnight? Maybe paying attention to the invisible parts of your home is the ultimate form of long-term financial control. Something to think about until our next deep dive.